What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here, bringing to you UFC Fight Night, Moicano versus Duncan. Coming off an 8-4 with a draw on Yanez. Good fight week back in the Apex here. We got a couple of honorable mentions to start. We got Dakota Hope versus Kai Kamaka. 11-1 versus 17-7. And we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to go Hope here. Seems like he should be the favorite. Favorite, but no odds out yet in the featherweight division. A high upside for finishing on Hope, 5 KO wins. So let's see him throw the hands and get the better of Kamaka, who has been knocked out twice and could be beat up over time in Bellator. So let's go Hope there on the start. No odds yet, and then I got Lando Vantana versus Darius Beast Mode Flowers. Vantana 17-2-2, Darius 12-8-1, and this is a 1-800 gambler fight. But I'm gonna pick Vantana just because Darius has lost me so many times. I just can't go with him one more time. So prove me wrong, Darius. Get the dub. Rooting for you, bro. Darius, my favorite name in the UFC. But I got Vanta winning here, probably a greasy decision, but could go either way. I mean, and this guy Vanta is where I'm from. So, I mean, you got to go root for that guy. Really got to. So, we'll go look into that a little bit more, but there's no way I'm picking him over Darius Flowers. So, I'm going to move on to the card where we got all the odds right now. We got Diane Barbosa, women's flyweight against Melissa Gatto. 8-4 versus 9-2-2. Barbosa coming off that split decision loss. And then you have Gatto, who had the finish win last time out, and against Vidal, who's a punching bag. So we'll see how that shakes out. I mean, I like Gatto here. I think Gatto comes in there and wants to really throw violence. I think she'll get the better over Barbosa with a little bit of the upside finish. Personally a big fan of Gatto and the way she fights. I think she fights kind of angry in a way, and I think it's really to her advantage against someone like Barbosa, who's been pointed up by people who I feel like are lesser fighters than Gatto. So, yeah, Melissa Gatto, let's go, baby. Next up, middleweight bout, Azmat Bakoyev versus Treyshawn Gore. Bakoyev 20-4 coming off the loss versus Treyshawn Gore 6-4 coming off a loss. And, yeah, Bakoyev big favorite here. Bakoyev round 1 KO, I like. Lost to Belgori last time out by the third round KO, and that guy's a monster. He's a tough matchup for anybody. So, I like Bakoyev to rebound, coming in here absolutely mummy dust Gore. I mean, unless Gore gets a couple takedowns and controls the fight that way, maybe that's how he feels like he can beat Bakoyev, and maybe that's Gore's pathway to victory, so he could be live there, but ain't no way I'm picking against Bakoyev, especially coming off a loss. Guys, that he's just going to touch this guy's chin and it might explode. So, I mean, yeah, Treyshawn Gore, believe he's been finished before, and I believe he'll get finished again. So, there we go. Bakoyev. Next up, women's bantamweight, Alice Pereira versus Haley Cohen. Pereira 6-1 versus Cohen 7-4. And yeah, I just don't know how people can actually go in there and pick Haley Cohen in 2026. Now, I'm gonna root for her as a fight fan, but you know, I'm not gonna go towards picking or betting with any level of confidence. I hope she has a great performance, but you know, 34 years old, a lot of canceled fights. Not looking good recently the last couple times out. And Pereira, you know, she really has something to prove here. I could see this one going decision. I thought she won the fight against Rendon, who then just got destroyed last week. Right? So it's one of those things. It's like, I really think Pereira should beat up Cohen pretty good here. You know, I think it will be a decision. So I like Pereira decision against Cohen. It's just hard to really think. And I just think Cohen can make, I don't know. I could see maybe a finish, but that's a lot to ask for. Oh, we got Vanta and Flowers. We did that one. Yeah, Vanta. Let's go, Vanta. Next up, men's flyweight, Alessandro Costa versus Stuart Nickel. Costa fit 14-5 coming off the loss against Stuart Nickel, 8-2 coming off a loss. And yeah, good matchup here. Very exciting fight. I don't know how you don't love Alessandro Costa. Last loss to Carrera, who was a pretty big upset at the time, you know. Only other losses to Albazi and Urseg before that. Again, Nickel 8-2. Coming in here, flyweight off a loss to Roca and Aguilar. And, yeah. Costa's big favorite for a reason. Probably should get him in a finish. I know flyweight inside the distance, but Costa's a monster for a flyweight. Really packs a lot of power. I think he can do something similar to Grasso, big KO, jump on the neck if it's in a bad spot. Got both upsides for finishing. I think Stuart Nickel could Newer Sickle. But yeah. I like Costa, man. He's a good fighter. I think he's tough. I want to see Nickel really have the fight of his life. I think that's what it's going to take to beat him, and he could. It's not like Costa's unblemishable, but Nickel's really going to have to do it against guys, the best guy he's ever fought, which he's never done it against. So, yeah, Costa. Next up, featherweight bout, Jose Delano versus Robert Ruchala. Delano making his debut. Ruchala, 11-2. Lost to Gomes in his UFC debut. And, yeah, this one's kind of greasy in my opinion. I know there's a lot of love for Delano here, and I guess I can see it. But, I think it'll be a pretty patient fight. So I think this one will be a lot slower. And I think it could go either way. I'm not as sold as the odds say on this one, especially one guy making his debut and the next guy off his second fight, which wasn't a bad performance, against Gomi. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to pick Ruchala here. This one I'm pretty much guessing at both ways too. Some of these fights here is not too the confidence picks are not in there, but I'm actually gonna go Ruchala for the upset. Could be made to look. Switch that. I'm gonna go Delano here. He might just have some crazy grappling ability, and he might just put it through the ringer on this guy. So, I'm going Delano here. I think he'll be on the feet. I think he'll be able to do enough. I think he'll be able to snatch. I think the athleticism will be a big difference. You can push the pace against Gomi, and he didn't. So, let's go Delano. Next up, Guillermo, my guy Pat versus Thomas Peterson. Pat with the win, 5-0. Peterson 10-4. KO loss to Petrino, I think. And anybody picking Peterson, betting on Peterson, there is a number for that too. Now, confidently, I am not so much further in front of Pat, whose one win is Alan Fry Jr. But I really don't understand what Peterson does that well in the heavyweight division. He's supposed to be a wrestler, but doesn't really get takedowns. Boxes, but doesn't really knock people out. So I think he could. I don't know. Maybe he'll just be bigger for Pat in this one, and that's what I'm missing. Maybe he'll just kind of take him down, do decent at striking, and but man is super hittable. Man is not super durable, and I think Pat could strike at the outside and maybe get it into position, snatch a guillotine if Peterson comes in hot, or just tap him on the chin. So I go with my guy Pat here. Can't go against him again. Guillermo Pat. Next up, some of these fights don't even look serious. Tommy McMillan minus like 2,000, I think, against Milano Ziccini. And yeah, I just know Italian fighters get knocked out. Maybe not Vittori, but the other guys do. So I expect an early knockout, 1-2 for maybe even a finish. That's the way I would play it. For Tommy McMillan, who looks, he's priced as the real deal. So, finish, submission, KO. Either way, I think it can happen. Rounds 1-2. I don't think this one stays that long. Nothing against Ziccini here. I think, when you that's the only way these things got to be. The last Pirates body kicking you, yeah, it's over. Tommy McMillan, round 1 finish. Next up, this is a spicy fight. This might be my favorite fight of the night here. Ethan Ewing versus Rafael Estevam. Ewing coming off the debut win against Wellmaker, 9-2 against Rafael Estevam, 14-0. And yeah, looking good. Maybe not getting the finishes as the clip that we want to see for a bantamweight, but yeah, Philippe Boons, Jose Aguilar, Charles Johnson. He's moving up a weight class here, so I think that's a big deal. I think Ethan Ewing's gonna maul this guy. Um, loss losses to Charez. Oh no, that's Philippe Boons. Yeah, but Bunes, Aguilar, those are all flyweights. He's going up to bantamweight here. I think Ethan Ewing is gonna absolutely maul this guy if he's coming down from featherweight too, a true camp to come in there. Yeah. No, I guess he did 135 last time, but Estevam couldn't make weight, and I don't know. I think he could really struggle against somebody like Ethan Ewing, who I don't think really has that many flaws in his game. Now maybe he's never really been challenged. So Estevam submission could be super live here. Because Wellmaker absolutely had no offensive game, and Estevam has 3 submission wins, and he looked pretty good grappling with the finishing upside in some of those matchups. But yeah, you got to see if Ethan Ewing can stuff the takedown defense and is an athlete and is looking as good as he looked. I think he's kind of the real deal. I think he could be pretty up there. He only lost to a heel hook, so yeah, let's see what happens here. Let's see if he was able to get a good bout of training in against somebody like Estevam. What's coming in. I'm not doubting Ethan Ewing, bro. I'm picking Ethan Ewing. Estevam, I'll probably bet on him to win by submission. That way, but I think Ethan Ewing's gonna stuff the takedown. I think he's gonna land some serious damage. Knees, positioning, athleticism. 28 versus 34. It's a lot in the UFC experience, but and Estevam's an absolute G. But coming up in the weight class, I think could just be enough. But again, I feel like I could be completely wrong on this one. If I say something about the age, I might have still got the age wrong. They're both 29, but yeah, it should be a banger matchup. Absolutely banger. I do think Estevam could win, though. I'm picking Ethan Ewing, though, because I'm a fan. Next up, light heavyweight. Yakayev versus Brendanson Hibario. 8-0 Yakayev. Hibario 17-9. Another one that's saying that Hibario should get finished in the first round here, which has happened a few times. Last back-to-back times against some absolute big hitters, and I think Yakayev is the same kind of, yeah, I think the levels here are big different, and yeah, this guy doesn't really go a couple minutes, so Yakayev in the first few minutes. First minute, Lou. 30 seconds, 2:30, 1:30, 37, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Those are all his wins, so he's barely made it to the 4th minute. So, yeah, Yakayev, first round finish. Priced that way. Hibario, thank you for your service, kind gentleman. You're a trooper. Co-main event, Virna Jandaroba, 22-4 versus Tabitha Ricci, 12-3. Jandaroba coming off that loss to Mackenzie Hayadern. That was for the belt, I believe. Looked really good that day. Didn't look her best against Tabitha Ricci, who, I mean, I want to pick the win, but man, this one's going to be close, too. I got Jandaroba on the rebound. She just seems better. They both seem like pretty top-level women's strawweights. Like, this one's probably going to the ticket. I'm going to take the girl that's got a little bit better upside for the grappling in Jandaroba. But, yeah, I think this one could be really good. It's definitely a super solid fight. A high level. Grappling on both ends. Striking's going to be top-notch. I think Virna's just going to look a little bit bigger, have a little bit better leverage, and I just don't think Ricci's really got that, like, defensive upside grappling to, like, finish Jandaroba. Like, I don't think she can ever sneak in a guillotine or something like that, or, and that's where I really think she'll end up losing this fight. And standing up on the feet, I eventually think she'll trade evenly, and she'll have to win, which I think she could. I mean, and she took a lot of damage in her last fight, so I think Ricci is definitely super live to win, but she's also never been super solid in the striking department against good strikers, too. So let's see how it is. This one should be good, but I'm going Jandaroba. Last up, the money fight, lightweight bout. Hanato Money Moicano versus Chris Duncan. Moicano taking plus money big time here. And, yeah, I kind of like him here. I don't understand, I like Money Moicano here. I think he's got a great chance to win. Duncan's a great fighter, but he hasn't been to deep waters. back-to-back losses. He can't afford to lose. That's really the case here. To have a performance against I mean, he's got to show up. I mean, Duncan's the real deal, bro. He's going to put you out. So I think Moicano's got to get a good fight in here. Duncan's a real problem. He really is. He just beat Terrence McKinney, who looked ever good. And that wasn't too long ago. Yeah. I just like Moicano. I'm not picking against Moicano. Manuel Torres, rear naked choke. Yeah, you can get finished by, that's Moicano's move right there. So I just got to pick him. I think he'll have a good enough game plan. And Duncan eats some fists, bro. Like, Duncan's not unblemishable. Even in all those fights, he got that position on McKinney because he was getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? And he went forward. So Jordan had him hurt kind of in the first round. Rebecca had him hurt, lost to Torres. I like Moicano here. I don't think you have to overthink this one too. Duncan can very well win. There's a lot of really close fights on here, and I hate picking against Duncan for Moicano, but it's like one of the other ones is like, I'm not going to lose the other way around. Where like, man, I actually really like that fighter. He's kind of not an underdog, but just like in a good pick'em spot, and I think he's got a rebound. I could also see, like, you have to track this too, where like the people that only ever have one title fight and then just go on a losing streak. Someone like Grasso, right? She lost a couple in a row after the title, and then she rebounded pretty solidly. Like, I think Moicano rebounds pretty solidly. Like, if we're hyping up BSD, like, I think BSD would be a favorite against Chris Duncan right now. A sizable favorite. So, have this not at even money, I think is it's just MMA math over time. And then, like, MMA math doesn't equal betting math. And I like Moicano here because I think he really has a chance to get the job done. I think he'll have a good game plan. I think he'll be patient enough, and if Duncan commits too much, he'll be able to strike with him and take him down. So, Money Moicano. We'll do a quick recap. Keep this video short. A lot of fights I really didn't know too much about in a way. A couple weren't. The Darius Flowers one wasn't. The Hope Kamaka. So we're going with Hope in that first one. We got Melissa Gatto, Asma Pokoyev, Alice Pereira, Lando Vanta, Alessandro Costa, Jose Delano, Guillermo Pat, Tommy McMillan, Ethan Ewing, Yakayev, Yandaroba, Moicano. Literally the entire left side of the page. Do with that as you will. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your picks in the comments section. 100% picks right is $100. I'll see you guys next week. I'm excited for this fight card. Bringing it to you back each and every week. I love you guys so much. Take care of yourselves, your friends, and your family. Peace and love, everybody.